right? And so I want to share with you a few building blocks of marriage. The first one is love. Paul in the book of Ephesians says, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. I think that last statement is understandable to us, because if we love our wife, it's because a part of their thing is that what happens when we actually practice love is that it is returned to us. What a blessing that is. So that first building block is love, but the second one is communication. Be willing to talk with each other. Paul also says in the book of Ephesians, therefore, each of you must put off falsehood and speak truthfully to his neighbor. For we are all are members of one body. In your anger do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. Do not give the devil a foothold. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Communicate with love, and again, it will come back to benefit you. Practice humility. Remember, the meaning of humility is to lift others up, to lower yourself so that you're exalting others. That's a command that Jesus gives to every single one of us, but in a marriage, it is one of the key building blocks. If you exalt your spouse, you lower yourself, you again will be blessed by that. Colossians 3:12 says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Fourth building block is forgiveness. We just read, forgive as the Lord forgave you. But a wise old sage once said, if you don't carry out the garbage, one day your house will become a dump. And so take care of that garbage by providing forgiveness. The Old Testament tells us love covers a multitude of sin. And how true that is when we look at one another and we seek to practice love, we will overlook those sins that the other person commits. And again, Gary Thomas told us in that book that as you get married, you need to realize that we all stumble in many ways. What do you expect to happen when you marry someone who stumbles in many ways? You should expect stumbling and be willing to overcome that together through forgiveness and through love. And then the last one is time. If a man has recently married, he must not be sent to war or have any other duty laid on him. For 1 year he is to be free to stay at home and bring happiness to his wife that he has married. That was an Old Testament requirement, that a husband was supposed to stay home and make his wife happy. And it's a good reminder for us that the focus of marriage, now you have taken upon yourself, Kyle, the responsibility to make your wife happy. And as you seek to do that, again, the response is going to be likewise, I'm certain, the same. On her golden wedding anniversary, my grandmother revealed the secret of her long and happy marriage. On my wedding day, I decided to choose 10 of my husband's faults, which for the sake of our marriage, I would overlook, she explained. A guest asked her to name some of the faults. To tell the truth, she replied, I never did get around to listing them, but whenever my husband did something that made me hopping mad, I would say to myself, lucky for him, that's one of the 10. That was from Robert McFarland. In all of these things, I want you to see very clearly that if we are willing to work together, practicing working on these building blocks, that God has given marriage to be a blessing to us. Catherine Paxton had said, a braid appears to contain only 2 strands of hair, but it is impossible to create a braid with only 2 strands. If the 2 could be put together at all, they would quickly unravel. And herein lies the mystery. What looks like 2 strands requires a 3rd. The 3rd strand, though not immediately evident, keeps the strands tightly woven. In Christian marriage, God's presence, like the 3rd strand in a braid, holds husband and wife together. As long as you are willing to allow him to be a part of your marriage, and you seek to use these building blocks to strengthen your marriage will grow and it will thrive, because Jesus will cause it to thrive.